Hey guys, my name's Jono. I'm a former lawyer turned full-time filmmaker based in Sydney, Australia. Since quitting my corporate job as a lawyer back in 2022 to start up this videography business with my best mate Jason, last month marked our biggest month in business so far. In the month of July, we made a total of $50,209. It's absolutely crazy to think that back in 2019, when Jason and I first started our videography journey, we were just two hungry kids with a dream and a passion. Never in our wildest imagination did we think that we would eventually build a videography business out of our passion and then still be doing it full time 2 to 3 years later. And for full transparency, this number isn't actually as impressive as it seems because all the revenue figures are going to be shared between Jason and myself as co-owners of the business. All the figures that I'll be talking about in this video are also going to be based in Australian dollars because our business is based in Australia and that's the currency that we charge our clients. So if you're still interested in finding out how we actually reach this monthly revenue figure, then keep on watching. Okay, so chapter 1, income streams. So the first income stream that I want to talk about is commercial work, where we basically provide photography and videography services to businesses. In the month of July, this mainly comprised of 3 different types of projects. Number 1 was brand story video projects. A brand story video is essentially the hero piece of content for a business. It sums up who they are, who they help, and what makes them different. It serves as the centerpiece for a client's online presence. Brand story videos are typically the first project that we will sell to a new client, and we try to use that first project to build a more ongoing relationship from there. And hopefully when we smash the first project out of the park and the client is super happy, they'll oftentimes get us to come back to do more videos down the track, from social media videos, event videos, client testimonials, or project case study videos. And so in the month of July, we closed 2 brand story video packages for a total of $7,250. Both projects actually came as a result of referrals from past clients. Moving on to the second type of commercial project, which is event recap videos. In the month of July, one of our clients who we've been working with since 2020 when we first started our videography as a little side hustle, they had 2 events which they got us to do the photography and videography, which resulted in a total of $3,500. And finally, the third type of commercial project is what I like to call walkthrough content. We typically work with a bunch of builders who will get us to come in at various stages of the construction process to create some content. Another client that got us to do this walkthrough style content was a disability services provider. They provide homes to people with disabilities, and they needed some walkthrough videos and photos of one of their new homes. We actually used to do a lot of this walkthrough style content when we first got started as beginners. We would work with local real estate agents and film their listings each month. It was a pretty consistent stream of income, but honestly, probably not the most exciting project to work on. And so over time, as our business has sort of evolved over the years, we've intentionally taken less of these walkthrough style projects to focus our efforts on more high production and interesting projects like brand story videos. But in the month of July, these walkthrough style projects resulted in a total of $3,400. So in total, adding up the 3 different types of commercial projects that I just mentioned, we made a total of $14,150. Now, moving on to the second primary income stream, which is weddings. For our wedding studio, we actually offer both photography and videography. Because there's 2 of us, Jace and myself, I'm in charge of the photography side and Jace is in charge of the videography. For most weddings throughout the year, we're doing both photos and videos together, which is oftentimes more fun because there's someone to keep you company as long as we don't want to kill each other. But there are some weddings throughout the year where couples will only get us for photos or only for videos. Depending on what package the couple books and how many hours that they need us there for, our packages can range from $2,500 to $7,500. In terms of how we take payments, we will take a 50% upfront deposit to book in the wedding date, and then the remaining 50% is due 1 week before the actual wedding. Since weddings get booked a year in advance, sometimes even 2 years in advance, how we reflect that in our monthly revenue figures is we'll only account for the 50% initial deposit that we take in that month, and also any 50% remaining balances that were paid for weddings that we actually shot in the same month. So in the month of July, we actually only shot 3 weddings, which resulted in a total of $6,136 in remaining balances collected. But what absolutely blew things out of the water was in the second half of July, we had a massive flurry of wedding bookings. We booked a total of 14 weddings across 2026 and 2027, which resulted in total wedding deposits collected totaling $24,294. So from weddings in the month of July, if you add up the remaining balances for the 3 weddings that we shot, and also the 14 wedding bookings that we took in the month of July, that comes to a total amount of $30,430 from weddings. Now, if you're enjoying this video so far, guys, and you are a beginner videographer looking to take your journey to the next level, go check out all of our free resources in the description box below to our free 7-day videography email crash course, and also our creator kit, which contains pre-production guides that we've used for real shoots that we've done in the past. So go check that out, link below. And now moving on to the third and final income stream, YouTube. Personally for us, we find this income stream to be the most fun and fulfilling. So for YouTube, we actually have 3 primary income streams: YouTube AdSense, one-on-one coaching, and digital products. So let's start with the first one, YouTube AdSense. As many of you guys know, when we decided to take the leap of faith and start our videography business at the start of 2022, we also started up this YouTube channel to document our journey, share our learnings and experiences along the way. But for about 2 years, we were basically making YouTube videos for free, each week spending hours planning, scripting, filming and editing YouTube videos that hardly anyone watched. But at the start of 2024, our YouTube channel started to gain a bit of momentum. We hit the 4,000 hour watch time threshold, which allowed us to monetize our YouTube channel and start receiving AdSense money. This is essentially the money that YouTube pays us for the ads that show at the beginning of our videos. And so in the month of July, we received a total of $505 from YouTube AdSense. Now, the second income stream from YouTube is one-on-one coaching. At the start of 2024, we launched our one-on-one coaching program. At the time, we were getting a lot of DMs and emails from people in this community asking if we would hop on Q&A calls with them and provide advice and mentorship. And so I started hopping on all these calls to help our subscribers out with specific issues in their videography journey. And it was really awesome to meet actual people in this community, real people who had actually watched our videos and gained some value from it. And that was really cool to see, because for the longest time, we were spending so much time creating these videos, wondering to ourselves, is anyone actually gaining any value from these videos? When we started meeting real people who got actual results from watching our YouTube videos or hopping on Q&A calls with us, we decided to launch a more formal one-on-one coaching program to help the people in our community who are serious about progressing their videography journey to the next level. And so in the month of July, we made a total of $2,178 from one-on-one coaching. Now, the third and final income stream from YouTube is digital products. In June last year, we launched our first digital product, the 6-figure filmmaker starter kit. This was a starter kit for beginner videographers that contained a step-by-step roadmap, tools, and all the templates that we use to go from complete beginners who didn't even know how to use a camera back in 2019 to eventually building and growing a multi-6-figure videography business. We wanted to create a super valuable resource for someone who was in our exact same shoes a couple of years ago. Shortly afterwards, we also launched our 6-figure wedding starter kit, which contains a more tailored roadmap, tools, and templates that we use to run our wedding photography and videography studio. And finally, a couple months ago, we also launched our cinematic LUT pack for Sony S-Log users to help quicken up your color grading process. When we first started as beginner videographers, we used to waste so much time color grading, spending hours and hours on a single clip, only to export it and not really be completely happy with how the final image looked. We spent hundreds of dollars on LUTs from other creators over the years, and a lot of them were really good, but we found that they were sometimes a little bit too creative for actual client work. We wanted something that gave our footage a really timeless cinematic look, but still preserved the natural colors in our image. And that's why we decided to come up with our own LUT. And so if you guys want to check out any of the 3 digital products that I just mentioned, the 6-figure filmmaker starter kit, the wedding kit, and also our cinematic LUT pack for S-Log users, go check them out in the description box down below. And so in the month of July, we made a total of $2,946 from digital products. And so adding up the 3 income streams that I just mentioned, YouTube AdSense, one-on-one coaching, digital products, that gives us a total of $5,629. And so adding up those 3 income streams, commercial work, wedding photography and videography, and YouTube, that gives us a grand total of $50,209 in the month of July. However, this wasn't the money that we actually took home because we also have to take into account expenses. So chapter 2, expenses. So the biggest monthly expense in our business is salaries. We have 2 full-time employees in the business, Jason and myself, and we don't actually employ anyone else. We personally like to keep our team extremely lean and will only bring in contractors for specific projects when we need them. I feel like personally this gives us more freedom and flexibility when it comes to running our business. And because we keep our lifestyle expenses relatively low on a month-to-month basis, we only pay ourselves a modest salary of $4,000 each, which means the total monthly salary cost for our business is $8,000. And now moving on to the second biggest category of expenses, which is subscriptions. So for our business, we have a range of monthly software subscriptions to run our day-to-day business. So number 1 is MusicBed, which is our music licensing platform. The second is our accounting software Xero. The third is our Adobe subscription, where I primarily use it for Lightroom to edit wedding photos. Imagen, which is an AI photo editing tool. Amazon Prime for when we need to order books or camera equipment, as you guys can see behind me. Canva, which we use a lot for our social media posts. Millernote, which a lot of you guys know we use a lot for pre-production. Zoom to hold our client calls and our one-on-one coaching calls. And also Rev, which is a subtitle tool. So in total, all those monthly subscriptions come to a total in the month of July of $512.08. And finally, the last expense category, I just call it other. This mainly comprises of petrol costs, catering costs in terms of food for shoots, and also whenever we decide to take clients out for lunch, and also parking as well. So in total, these other expenses for the month of July totaled $544.55. And adding up all those total expenses for July, that gives us a total of $9,056.63. So if you minus our total revenue, $50,209, with our expenses of $9,056.63, that gives us a net profit for the month of July of $41,152.37. So that's how much we made in the month of July, and also our expenses. Now moving on to the final chapter, our key learnings from the month. So chapter 3, key learnings and reflections. Learning number 1, FU money is priceless. So I actually learned about this concept from a book called FU Money by Dan Lok, where he talks about essentially having a bucket of money there that allows you to say FU to situations and to people that are not aligned with your values. So instead of living paycheck to paycheck, working for a boss that you hate, or a 9-to-5 that you despise, or a really difficult client that gives you endless headaches, you have a pool of money there, a safety net, so that you can be like, you know what, F you, I've actually got options here. I don't need this in my life. I can actually say no. And when it comes to running our business, we love having FU money. Because personally for us, when it comes to running our business, we prefer freedom and the ability to have options over living an extravagant lifestyle. I like the fact that if there's a corporate client who's super difficult, or a wedding couple that we don't particularly vibe with, or a one-on-one coaching student that might not actually benefit from coaching, I can simply tell them, hey, look, we might not be a good fit to work together, but I can refer you to someone else. Because we have this FU money, we're not desperate to bring in new projects in each month. And I personally think that this is a great place to be when it comes to doing business, because you're able to operate with integrity. You're only taking on clients that you genuinely think you can help. And I think that's ultimately what business is about, helping people solve problems and providing value in exchange for money. Learning number 2, the power of word of mouth. In the month of July, 100% of our commercial projects and 60% of our wedding projects actually came from word of mouth referrals. A past client has an amazing experience working with us and refers us to another client. After running our videography business full-time for the last 2 to 3 years, we've personally found that word of mouth referrals is by far the most effective and also cheapest form of marketing. And it makes sense why that is. Videography and photography is a pretty high ticket service. Oftentimes for projects, we're charging in the thousands of dollars. So it requires quite a high level of trust before a client's willing to depart with the hard-earned money. And if you think about it from a client's perspective, it's way more trustworthy getting a recommendation from either a friend, family member, or a colleague, as opposed to finding a random stranger through social media. Not saying that it's impossible to attract clients through social media, because we definitely get a lot of inquiries through social media these days. But what I'm saying is, personally, what we've found is word of mouth referrals is way more effective. And so every time that you do a good job on a project, whether that's a free project if you're just starting out as a beginner, or a paid project, you're building what I call your word of mouth machine. And as you do more projects throughout your videography journey, your word of mouth machine gets bigger and bigger. And over time, you're gonna find yourself getting referrals left, right, and center from places that you least expect. But this also works the other way too. If you don't do a good job on your projects and clients are not happy, they will also tell other people, and that will make getting clients harder and harder. And so over the years, we've learned to implement a couple of systems in our business to maximize word of mouth referrals. So number one is over delivering on each project. So for commercial work, that could be, for example, giving the client a few extra videos that weren't included in the initial scope. Or for weddings, for a couple just last week, we delivered a couple of same day prints that we gave to them at the end of the wedding day. Just those little unexpected surprises throughout the process that absolutely wows the client and leaves them with an amazing experience. Number two is actually asking for a referral. So if a client's happy with your work, just asking them, hey, do you know one person in your network who would benefit from my service? I would love an introduction. And finally, tagging and inviting them to collaborate on social media posts. When we upload our work onto social media, we always offer to collaborate with the client because we want as many people in their network to see our work. In these cases, the video itself does the talking because someone in our client's following sees our video and goes, wow, that's amazing. Who did that video? I would love an introduction. And oftentimes that's led to a referral and a new client. So for your own videography journey, you can't really control when or where a client might refer you another client, but there are certain things that you can implement into your workflow to maximize the chance of word of mouth referrals happening. Now, learning number three is staying in the game. As many of you guys know, we're big Alex Hormozi fans. His content and also his books have had a massive impact on our business journey. There's something really profound that he said in one of his videos that really hit home for me. He says, you don't win a business. The point is to stay in business and keep the game going. You don't win at marriage. The point of marriage is to keep marriage going. You don't win at health. The point is to stay healthy. The best games in life can't be won, only played. And I think a big achievement personally for us over the last couple of years is simply the fact that I quit my corporate job. Jason graduated from law school in 2022 to start up this business. And fast forward 3 years later, we're still in business. We're still playing the game. And a big contributing factor to that, I think, is how we've managed to design our business in a way that allows for what Ali Abdul calls fun, flexibility, and freedom so that we actually enjoy staying in the game. Because for some people who watch this income breakdown video, they might go, oh, you've got 3 different income streams. That's way too many. If you actually just cut out 2 and focus on 1, you'll be able to make a lot more money. For example, if we stopped making YouTube videos for our community tomorrow and focused all that time into bringing more client projects and doing the actual projects themselves, we would probably make a lot more money in the short term. But we love doing all 3. I personally love the fact that I can inject a little bit more creativity into a brand video project during the weekday, and then connect with a wedding couple on the Saturday, and then hop on a call with someone halfway across the world to help them with their videography journey. I like the mix. It keeps it fun and interesting. Personally, if I was only doing commercial work or only doing weddings or only hopping on coaching calls, it'd start feeling a little bit like a 9-to-5 again, and then I wouldn't want to do it anymore. So personally for me, throughout this journey, what I've come to realize is that it's all about self-awareness and finding out what works best for you so that you can actually stay in the game. And that's it for today's income breakdown video, guys. I hope you're able to take some golden nuggets out of this income breakdown and apply it to your own videography journey. On this channel, we try to be as transparent as possible with you guys because this is the type of information that I would have loved seeing when I first got started as a beginner in your shoes a couple years ago. Since the start of this year, we had actually set ourselves a monthly revenue target of $30,000 a month. So the fact that we've blown that target out of the water is a great feeling because this year we have worked our butts off. And personally for me, one of my shortcomings is that I sometimes sometimes forget to celebrate those little wins along the way. But Jace always makes sure that we celebrate those wins. And so to celebrate our biggest month in business so far, Jace organized an omakase dinner for us and it was absolutely delicious. And finally, I just want to point out that last month in July was our biggest month in business. Not all months are like that, and our videography business definitely does not make this amount every single month. If you want a more accurate picture of how much our business actually makes across a 12-month period, I'll leave a link to another income breakdown video below called How Much Our Videography Business Makes Each Month. Anyways, guys, thank you for staying until the very end of this video. Appreciate you guys. Make sure to go check out all the free resources. Again, the videography email crash course and also our creator kit, link below. I'll see you in the next video. Go check out this video here on how I became a videographer in 3 months. I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay focused.